Mystic Tribe. Oh my God, there's so much going on in the cosmos right now. There's so much going on in my communities, and I really just wanted to come in here and share a couple of those really strong messages that I'm getting. So, if you're new to my world, if you're new to my page, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you are following along on this journey. And if you don't know me, I'm Emily. I am a Theta Healing practitioner and instructor. I'm a mama to a beautiful little light worker, and I empower moms to thrive on their spiritual journey while also navigating and supporting their own kids' spiritual development. So, if this is you, if this is your vibe, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are and you have been here for a while, I love you. Hi. Um, so, okay, I'm going to start off with a very vulnerable share. My daughter has really been triggering me lately. And it's this power struggle. And I see it. My highest self sees it. Whenever I connect to Creator, I see it. And in those moments, I feel like I come right back to that sleep state, right back to that unconscious state, right back to acting out of my primal need, which is fight or flight. And I have chosen to fight. I don't fight my daughter. I don't have our own little battle here. However, I act out in more of an aggressive way than I usually do. And it breaks my heart every single time because I know that she doesn't know what she's doing, that she's doing anything wrong. She doesn't know that, okay, you need to go to sleep now because I know you're about to get to a really cranky state and then it's going to be impossible for you to get to sleep. You got to wear gloves because it's cold outside. And if you don't, well, then you're going to get frostbite. So there's little things like this where her conscious self isn't quite aware of it yet. And she's a new earth child. Like, she's super aware. And if you have a new earth child as well, let me know in the comments because I love connecting with other mystic mamas who are having to raise their kids very differently than the norm because their kids are so aware and intuitive and conscious. So let me know in the comments if you have a new earth child. And if you don't know, check out my new earth child checklist. I'll add it into the description as well because yeah, once you find out you have a new earth child, everything changes. Everything. Because now you no longer are going to be following Google. You're going to be following what your intuition says, what their energetic field says in order for you to raise them in the highest and best way. And so I do all this stuff on my daughter all the time. And yet the energy that keeps coming up is what I was shown is like this pebble that is dropped in water and the ripple effect. And the ripple effect for this and for so many moms out there, especially when you're raising new earth kids, especially when the kids are not, like, there's no rule book for raising new earth kids. This is why I do what I do, to help these mystic mamas who are raising these kids and have no idea how Google's going to help them. This is why I do this. And what I'm getting, and this is, again, if you don't have a new birth child, that's fine. If you do, this is going to be for you as well. This ripple effect is, what I'm getting is the guilt and shame that keeps piling up when we act out of our own triggers, when we act out of our own wounds, when we have an unhealed childhood trauma that kind of shows up in these moments when our kids are just teaching us something. They're showing us something that is happening within our psyche that we're unaware of. And this ripple effect is, what happens is that, okay, so say for example, I got aggressive with my daughter and I got really, really upset and I didn't address it. And I just suppressed it. And I didn't take the time to meditate, to release the energy that I was built up inside of me, to do the introspective work, to do the theta healing and reprogram those beliefs that came up. If I didn't do any of that, it would just keep growing. It would just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what that ripple effect is. It is the unconscious suppression of this guilt and this shame, the anger, whatever emotions that come up when we act out of our wounds, when we don't show up as the highest and best version of ourselves for our kids. It's that ripple effect that has such a massive impact, a negative impact. I know there's no negative and positive, but just for this, negative impact on moms, which eventually has a negative impact on the kids because the kids are just a reflection of you. And so Creator is really channeling to me and really sharing with me, like, if this is what you're going through right now, if you feel like there is such a buildup of momentum of this guilt and this shame and this anger from all those moments when you maybe acted out of that wounded self, maybe you got angry at your kids, maybe you got angry at your partner because you were unable to see your own childhood wounds playing out. If you feel this, if you feel this ripple effect happening for you, what Creator is saying is you have to come back to the starting point. You have to start a new ripple. You have to start a new pattern. And this is why I love Theta Healing so much. Why I love Theta Healing so much. Because it allows you to come back to your childhood. It allows you to identify what are those beliefs that you were acting through in those moments when you act out of the wounded self, when you get angry at your kids, when you get angry at your partner, whatever. So if you've never heard of Theta Healing before, this is your first time hearing about it, what is this stream about? I didn't add a description, I just got called to just channel. But this is about the energy that's going on in the collective and a large part of my community, which is around guilt and shame that we're holding on to as moms, as mystic moms who are raising these new earth kids, as the cycle breakers. It is the guilt that we're holding on to, that when we are unable to identify it, when we're unable to know where its origin was from, why it's happening, it can get bigger and bigger and bigger and have a massive impact on the mom and the child. And this impact can show up as chronic pain. It can show up as postpartum depression. It can show up as hair loss. It can show up as low sex drive. Like, there's so many ways in which when we suppress our own feelings, especially around the guilt and the shame of maybe not acting out the highest, best version of ourselves, what can happen is that it's going to have a negative impact on not only our physical health, but also our connection to our child. And as a conscious mom, as a mom who is wanting to raise these new earth kids and be a cycle breaker, the most important thing for you to do is to identify and to know your own childhood experiences. It's so important for you to know what beliefs are creating the ego self to act out in anger or in frustration or sadness or guilt or shame. So if you've never entered into the theta state, I highly suggest you do so. I'll see if I can add a video to a meditation that I do for all my clients to walk you into that altered brainwave state. And I want you to ask one question. Let me see what that question is, because Creator, what's that question? What does this experience, so say you got angry at your kids, say you got angry at your partner, say you acted out of aggression, say you acted, just say it wasn't in the highest and greatest good. What is this experience making me believe about myself? That's the one question I want you to ask. And with that question, you're going to open up the doors to understanding why your ego self acted out in this way, why your survival self was just trying to protect you in a fight or flight response. And just by asking this question, you now have the ability to start changing how you're showing up. You now have the ability to change your belief systems. I use this question on my clients all the time. And it's surprising what's gonna come up for you. You may first ask this and be like, there's nothing that says about me. I just got angry because my child didn't do A, B, and C, or my partner didn't do A, B, and C. And when you ask this question in that altered brainwave state, you'll get a very different answer. Because when you access this altered brainwave state of theta, you are actually going back to that brainwave state that you were in when you were a child. So you're going to be able to recall events and experiences and memories from your own childhood that formed your current belief systems of why whatever your child is mirroring to you is triggering you so much. So for myself and my daughter, she triggers in me the lack of freedom that I felt I had as a child. Because she is such a wild child, when she, and quote unquote, disobeys me, or when she is defiant, or when she just wants to be free and run around, my childhood is triggered because I felt like I couldn't be like that. I felt like I had to be rigid. I had to be the good girl. I had to follow the rules. And so that lack of control that I had as a child, she is mirroring to me right now. And that's why I get angry. It's my inner child fighting because it cannot hold on to it anymore, the desire to be free. And I was only able to figure this out by asking that question in that altered brainwave state. What is this making me believe about myself? When my daughter is defiant, what does it make me believe about myself? And the answer came to that I have no control, that I need control. It's the only way that I feel safe, which is an illusion. It's a lie. For sure it is. But if I was unable to really work with this, if I was unable to identify this, to now be able to, one, reprogram that belief, because in that altered brainwave state, you can do that. Now that I was able to reprogram this belief, I now have the awareness as well to breathe through it, to let go of that guilt, let go of that shame, because it was just my own childhood experience being triggered by my daughter. And now that she has taught me this lesson and I've actually learned it, now I can move on to the next one. It's when we choose to ignore the lesson that our kids are teaching us by suppressing those emotions of guilt, of anger, of shame, when these experiences, these outbursts, these not so great times happen, when we suppress it, that's when that lesson is going to keep happening over and over and over again. And then we ask ourselves, why is my kid continuously throwing temper tantrums? Or why does my kid never want to eat or never want to sleep? It's not that the child is quote unquote a problem. It's that we as moms are not willing to learn the lesson that they are teaching us. And so they keep teaching us that same lesson. And we as moms keep suppressing it because we feel we don't have time. We feel like there's nothing deeper here for us to know. So let me know in the comments if this resonates. Let me know in the comments if like what you are currently experiencing, and I can do a little bit of channeling for you as well. Like this is what I love to do. I'm planning on showing up here on YouTube like every day for the next month, doing channeling and activations and lives like this. So if you have any questions of what you are experiencing, and like some guidance on that, by all means ask away, because I'd love to answer all these questions. I'd love to see what entities are going to come through. The more and more you can start to see your child as that beautiful mirror to your own childhood, to your own inner psyche, they become your greatest teacher. I have grown so much since my daughter was born. I have gone through a massive spiritual awakening. Massive. Beautiful. I don't know if you're talking about the video or me, but I'll take the compliment anyways. I receive it. Thank you. So I went through a huge spiritual awakening, huge, with my daughter. And I experienced postpartum depression and anxiety and anger because I was at the beginning not wanting to face what she was showing me, what she was trying to teach me. And once I let go of that guilt and that shame, and I actually identified those beliefs that were creating everything, she started sleeping better, started eating better. I have a better relationship with her. Like it's been a beautiful evolution and alchemy of our relationship. But I had to choose to let go of that guilt and shame. I had to choose to honor that she's a teacher to me. I had to choose to find that belief and what this was telling me about myself and let it go. So what is your child? What are those experiences where you feel like you've lost all control, where you maybe have an outburst, where something doesn't go as planned? What is it telling you about yourself? What is it making you believe about yourself? And if you don't know, access that altered brainwave state of theta. It is so much more difficult for you to answer questions like this and know, like, why is this happening when you were doing it in this conscious beta brainwave state. But as soon as you alter your brainwave state to theta, you're in that meditative state. You actually transcend time and space. You are coming back to that brainwave state where you were primarily in all through childhood. So it's so much easier for you to go inward. It's so much easier for those messages to come through to you. And that's how you begin to break these cycles. That's how you begin to actually see your kids as your teacher. That's how you can let go of that guilt and shame and connect deeper with your child, which is what we all want as Mystic Mamas. That's what we all want. It's what we all deserve. It's what our kids deserve. These New Earth kids who are coming here, who are so enlightened, they deserve this. Let me know how this is resonating with you. Let me know if you have any questions, if you'd like any more explanation on this, if you want me to channel anything for you, like, let me know. Let's see what else Creator has for you today. I'm getting this energy of anger. Okay, so the energy of anger that's coming forward, it feels like, again, this is an emotion that's really been suppressed recently. And if you have been feeling this anger that's been suppressed in you, I want you to know this. Usually, if you're holding on to suppressed anger, chances are you hold on to the belief that I have to be a good boy or girl. I have to be a good child. And you can muscle test yourself for this. See if you have this belief. Because if you do, this is holding you back from allowing yourself to express all of you, allowing yourself to be in your divine feminine, allowing you to call in what you desire. When you hold on to this belief that I have to be a good girl, or it's unsafe for me to suppress my emotion, those are two beliefs that usually result in a suppression of anger. Very common. Past generations didn't know the implications of the be seen and not heard comment. They didn't know the implications of various strict forms of punishment. They didn't know it. So we send them love. And it's our responsibility, especially as conscious New Earth moms, to decide that that belief is no longer serving us. So if you have that belief, if you've muscle tested for that, now it's time for you to start changing that. Because that suppression of anger is going to show up in your kids. Your kids are, chances are, if you are suppressing anger, your kids are a lot more aggressive than you expected them to be. Maybe your kids they have a lot more temper tantrums if you as a mom are suppressing your anger. Because they're trying to show you it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to go outside of that norm. It's okay to let go of that programming that you were told as a child that it was unsafe to express yourself. Does that make sense? I love talking about this. I'm going to be doing a lot more. I'm so excited. So I thank you for being with me here. I thank you for taking the time out to receive me, receive this wisdom, receive this guidance. If you have any more questions about this, please ask. You can do it in the comments. You can send me a message on Instagram. I love hanging out on Instagram. I usually hang out there more, but I am going to be coming here a lot more because I'm a talker. I could talk for hours. I've already talked for 20 minutes and it felt like 5 minutes. So yeah, send me a message if you have any questions about this, about your belief systems, about really letting go of that guilt, that shame, that anger, expressing yourself. Like, these are all foundational things that are needed as a New Earth mom. I love you. I see you. I honor you. I receive you. And we'll talk soon.